Okay, so I'm not sure how much you can give away, but what can you tell me about the communications campaign that you're set to launch in 2 weeks?
Right. Well, I can tell you that it's based on issues. It's about what Parliament can do. It's about the choices that Parliament has. Parliament, it's real powers, so the things that can really affect people's lives.
Okay.
So we're going to make it clear to people that when they vote in the European Parliament election, they're voting and making choices about policy. Because that's what an election is. It's not about supporting the institution or even supporting Europe as some sort of abstract ideal. It's about politics. It's about making choices between policies for the future.
Right. And will there be a social network?
Yeah, well, the online component, which is my bit,
Okay.
is going to be quite radical, a little bit different from the point of view of what the institutions have been doing in the past. We have the website, of course. We have the flagship website. We have a special election section of that,
Right.
which has its own URL.
Right.
And on that, we're doing things that haven't been done before. We're doing debates, we're doing interactivity, we're doing polls, all those kind of things where we're opening ourselves up a little bit to the outside world. We're getting some fairly interesting content coming in from our readers. But beyond that, we're intending to move in the direction of social networking, so there will be a presence of the European Parliament as an institution on social networks, the ones that you're probably familiar with yourself.
Yep.
I'm not going to give too much away, and we will also be using viral tools and viral methods in order to try and get our message across. So we're looking to reach beyond what you might call the core audience of people who are interested and convinced and already much in the European circuit. We want to get beyond that and talk to people who are voters who could take part in this election and get them to realise that the politics of it, the European Parliament, is important for them.
Right.
And if they miss out on their opportunities to vote, then they're missing out on the opportunity to influence the way Europe is going, because this is the democratic component of the European Union.
So when you talk about the Parliament having a presence on social networks, that's coming from, as you say, you're on the institution side, you're not on the political party side. So will that still be that way, or will that involve parties more, or will that still be...
No, I mean, the political groups, the political parties, the members of the Parliament and the candidates, everybody who's a politician one way or another will do their own thing, I'm sure. That's up to them, that's nothing to do with us. What we're doing is raising awareness of the election and of what's at stake and of what the Parliament can do for you, basically. And why it matters that you vote. So when we're talking about going onto social networks, what we're doing is getting people talking about the issues, getting people to sort of engage one way or another with the Parliament, whatever their views are. Obviously, for us as the administration of the Parliament, there's no way that we can talk about, promote a particular point of view, a particular candidate, and by that I even mean we can't promote a generally pro-European agenda as opposed to a Eurosceptic agenda. Those are all political questions, and the candidates and the members of the Parliament have very different views on those things. What we're going to say to people is, if you've got a view, and if you think it matters to you, and we believe it does, then participate, take part in this vote.
So, why has the Parliament not done this beforehand? I'm just wondering in terms of timing, like why is the launch of this campaign in middle of March versus January versus earlier on?
Well, okay, there are technical reasons, but there are, I think, probably more, if I can use a grand term, the historical reasons for this. And one of the things we've been talking about here today is the whole Obama phenomenon has happened, and people have realised the power of social networks and the internet in this sort of Web 2.0 way, as opposed to the previous manifestation. And the nature of political campaigning has changed, and so has the nature, therefore, of institutional communication about political events. What we are intending to do now is probably something that would have been inconceivable a year ago, simply because it hadn't been done, and it has been done now, and people see that it works, and a lot of individual members of the Parliament and candidates have realised that this is the way to go, so we were basically asked to do it. We have a mandate from our political authorities to get out there and communicate with people in this way. Now, the timing, okay, it takes this is a big operation. We work in 22 languages simultaneously. It's not a small feat to put together a campaign in 22 languages across 27 member states.
Right.
We're coordinating the physical campaign, which you will see in the streets and squares of Europe, with an online campaign and other forms of campaign. All that's going to be launched on the 17th of March. You don't want to move too soon either.
Right.
But what I think I can safely say is that a lot of the new things that we're doing as part of the election campaign, we're going to continue doing after the campaign is over, the elections are concluded, and the new parliament is installed. You can't launch all these new activities and then just close them down.
Right.
We will create an expectation. We will also respond to a need which won't disappear just because the elections are over.
Right. Okay.
And that's the way I see it going. Okay, we hope we're going to be in time to have an effect on the campaign. I think Europe is now, this time in March, starting to wake up to the impending elections, and the newspaper coverage, the amount of noise in the media is going up. We see the traffic to our website is going up steadily. I presume. Maybe it's just because it's a great website, but possibly also because there's an election coming up.
And what if you have any expectations of this online campaign? Just speaking, not too long term, until June. What would those expectations be, and what would make you satisfied?
I think we have to exercise a degree of humility. We are not Obama. We are not the Obama campaign. We're not even a political campaign. What we have to do is try and reach out across the divide which currently exists. At the moment, the European institutions are still generally perceived as distant and a bit remote and a bit bureaucratic. There are many, many reasons for that. I can't go into all that now, but I think that what we need to do is to show that there are real people, and the real people working inside this place. There are real people standing as candidates. There's real politics involved, and it makes a difference for the real people on the outside. You know, we're all in the same boat, and we need to do this thing together. Now, I can't give you numbers. I can't say. I'll be happy if turnout in the election reaches X percent, because there are so many factors that affect that, and I don't think I would have the presumption to suppose that we're going to make a huge difference to that. There are many, many reasons people vote, and it's normally because of political mobilisation at home. But we want to try at least get as close as we can to home for people, talk to them in their own language, talk to them about things that make a difference for them, not talk about abstracts and so on. So if we see a lot of people coming to our site, if we're getting a lot of comments, then already we know that we're touching people who wouldn't necessarily be reached by what we've been doing in the past.
Cool. Well, thank you very much.
That's a pleasure.